Howdy, folks. Greg Hawk 4x4 coming at you again, your resident vintage gamer. It is time for the Sunday gaming chat. I hope everyone out there is doing well. It looked like we had a couple people waiting to get on, so welcome. And I'm going to start this off, and I may do this on every live now. I may start the first couple of minutes with a monologue, just on a topic that's on my mind or whatever. So today's monologue is about something that particularly pisses me off. So you can call this a rant, you can call this old man yelling at the clouds, whatever you want to call it. I don't. Hey, Bastille. So today's monologue is about common decency and manners and respect and all those things. And I'm going to give you an example. So this morning, Sunday mornings, I like to go to the grocery store because it's generally not as crowded. Where I live, a lot of people go to church. So it's a good time to go to the store. So I go this morning, like I do almost every Sunday. And I always wear a mask because it's a personal choice for me. I feel like it's the bare minimum I can do to, if for some reason I had COVID or whatever and didn't know it, I don't want to be spreading my shit to other people. So it's the bare minimum I can do. So I do that. It's personal choice. So I'm there doing my thing, and very few people where I live wear their masks now. It's like they just assume COVID's over and they don't wear them anymore. So, and I've accepted that. So I'm just going, doing my thing, and all that. And I'm sitting in one aisle looking at a product, and a woman comes right past me. And right as she's passing me, she's looking directly at the same shit that I'm looking at, but she's like passing me. And she full on coughs like hacks. No attempt to cover her mouth. No attempt to do this. Doesn't turn away from me. Coughs right in my fucking direction with absolutely no regard for common fucking decency. When I tell you, now you can probably hear it in my voice a little bit. If there was a way, if there was been a camera on me, I guarantee you could have seen me just turning red. You could have just seen the fucking blood pressure rising on me. Because let's take COVID out of the equation. Let's take COVID out. Before COVID was ever even a thing, common decency says you're coughing or sneezing in public or whatever, you turn away from people and you cover your mouth. Bare minimum, you turn away from people. But you should really cover your face, do this, whatever, right? That's just common courtesy, right? Even before COVID. Then I'm at the checkout, and the people behind me, two small children, probably 4 and 6 or something like that. The kids are both hacking, like just hacking, and which I get it. They're kids. You can't, and they don't have masks on, the kids. And the kids are hacking. Now maybe they have colds or who knows. It's winter. But the parents made no attempt to even make a gesture for those of us around to say, oh, little Timmy, little Susie, cover your mouth when you cough. Nothing. Didn't give a damn. Gave less than a damn. I don't know what's happening. I don't understand what's happening with society. Before COVID, that would be considered horrible behavior, irresponsible, inconsiderate, genuinely being an asshole, but now it's like people are going out of their way it's like they're asserting their lack of respect for common decency. I don't know what the hell's going on. I think it's like they're doing it out of an act of defiance now. Like, not only am I not going to wear your goddamn mask, you're not going to control me, take my freedoms and all that. Not only that, I'm going to cough right in your fucking face. What are you going to do about that? That's the That's the fucking feeling that I'm getting right now, and it's infuriating. Because I was born from the South. Like, I was born in California, but all of my lineage is from Texas, and they migrated from Georgia to Texas. My talking about my great grandfather, great great grandfather started in Georgia to Texas, and then my dad ended up, and my mom and dad ended up in California where I was born. But so my grandmother raised me with yes, ma'am, yes, sir. Cover your mouth when you cough. Say excuse me if you walk in front of somebody. Pardon me. You take your cart when you're at the grocery store and you move it to the side so that people can get by. Common decency, common courtesy. That seems to be a thing of the past. I don't. It's like gone. So who knows? Anyway, that is the monologue for today. And with that, I am going to crack a delicious dew. Made me so mad, I got to have a Mountain Dew. Now that I'm off my high horse, well, Bastile's already said we had a cashier do that to us, coughing into her hands and touching everything while she bagged everything. Yeah, it's I I can't explain it, guys. I wish I could. So anyway, that's the monologue. We're going to talk about a couple different things today. We're going to talk about the Book of Boba Fett. Um, Mistress says grocery store people are so weird except for me. Yeah, it's all, I guess it's all subjective, right? That maybe I do stuff that pisses me people off, but I can guarantee one thing I don't do, and that is if I have to cough or sneeze or something like it, you can bet that I am turning away from anybody that's in my area, and I'm doing it into my elbow there because they've said that's, and I already have a mask on, so that's the best I can do to try and be courteous to others. Um, so anyway, we're gonna talk about the Book of Boba Fett. We're gonna talk about uh, a little bit about the campaign, our Dalmanwood D&D campaign. We're going to talk a little bit about the Super Bowl because it's coming up next weekend. And we're going to talk about a little bit about what happens when you start getting older, because I can relate. So Bastille says I'm drinking white chocolate peppermint coffee. Well, I've neve been a peppermint person. Lindis, go Bengals! Super Bowl, go Bengals! Yeah, well, I'm sorry, Lindis. I was with you. I wanted the Bengals to, once they beat my Raiders, I wanted the Bengals to go all the way. But unfortunately, they drew the Rams, and I'm from Los Angeles. And when I was the Rams were in Los Angeles for a long time as a kid before they moved to St. Louis. And now they're back in Los Angeles. So I kind of have a soft spot for my Rams too. So, hey, Colin, how are you? So hey, we've got all three. First time I think that's ever happened. We got all three of our moderators present and accounted for. Linda says, "Hey, I like the Rams too. This is actually my dream Super Bowl, but still go Bengals." But back to Bastille. Yeah, I've never been a peppermint guy. I do like some chocolate covered peppermint stuff, like New York, or what do you call it? York peppermint patties. Too much. The ratio. Too much mint, not enough chocolate in my book. There's other people from like Colin and Mistra and some of these other people that are in Europe might know this stuff. There's German chocolate called Ritter Sports, that they make a peppermint where the ratio is much better. Dark chocolate, smaller more a portion of peppermint, and that I like. But Colin says I'm good watching Doctor Who. Excellent. Hey, a lot worse things you could be doing than watching Doctor Who. I've spent many a day where I didn't feel well, just on the couch watching binge watching Doctor Who. 8-Bit Bill says, "Hey, I was grabbing a beer from the basement. What did I miss?" You missed an old man ranting about people not covering their mouths or when they sneeze or cough when they're at the grocery store. and not wearing a mask. They just letting it fly. Yeah, you heard a rant. That was what you missed. Um, Colin says I had one of them a few days ago. Marzipan. Yeah, the marzipan is also dark chocolate. I'm assuming you're talking about Ritter Sports. They're delicious. They make good chocolate. Mistress says I think I've heard of it, but I I'm guessing you meant to say rarely ever eat chocolate, which that doesn't even because I'm a chocoholic. So those words don't. Maybe that's why I can't read what's there on the screen because my brain won't comprehend somebody that doesn't eat chocolate like it's going out of style. You know? So 8-Bit Bill says drinking a Sprecher Black Bavarian here. Nice choice. Uh, yeah, you're talking about Sprecher Brewery that's in Wisconsin, right? Bastille says, Colin, we just finished watching Revolution of the Daleks, Jodie Whittaker. Rarely, damn autocorrect. Wow, Mr. Yeah, that might be the first thing that you and I didn't ever like see 100% eye to eye on, because I'm a chocoholic. I have a hard time understanding people that aren't chocoholics. To me, it's just like it's to me, it's one of those most perfect foods on earth, chocolate, you know. It's like I'm convinced that I could probably live on chocolate and beer and water. Like you gotta have water, but chocolate and beer to me in my brain says, well, beer is basically liquid bread, and chocolate there's made for, as long as it's milk chocolate, it's got protein in it. You could live on chocolate, beer, and water. That's in my. I'm sure you probably can't, but um, wow. Uh, Colin says I am on episode 4 of the William Hartnell episodes. Yeah, I need to go back and watch all of the original Doctor Who stuff. I started with what's his name, the one that only did the very first season of New Who, Eccleston. Eccleston. I can't remember his first name. Uh, damn. Anyway, Eccleston is his last name. That's where I started, which was New Who. I did not go back and watch. I did watch the very first season um, of Old Who. I did that like a while back, but I haven't done any of them since then. So Linda says plenty of water and beer. I've heard that Guinness, like true Guinness, that you could survive on Guinness. Someone said, I have no idea if this is true, that you could survive if you drank Guinness and you had a glass of milk every once in a while. That you could survive on that if you. But I have no idea if that's fucking true. That's probably just an old wives' tale. Um, let's see here. Don't forget it's chocolate beans, so it counts as pulses. Um, let's see. Colin, I heard a recent rumor that more missing episodes from the Hartnell era have been found in the Middle East. Huh. Christopher Eccleston. There you go. Linda says, "Hey, I'm looking for a good RPG PC game for this long cold winter. Anyone have any suggestions?" Well, if you never, I don't know if you. We have to know kind of what you've already played, um, like the Baldur's Gate series, um, the Pathfinder series, uh, Divinity. I'm sure there's some other ones I'm forgetting. Um, the Mass Effect series. If you're talking about fantasy or science fiction, we need a little bit more information. Mistra says, reminder not to forget about The Expanse. It's on the list, Mistra. I'm doing Deep Space Nine right now, and maybe I should, after Deep Space Nine, I should take a break and go to Expanse, and then go back and like start watching Voyager. I haven't decided yet, but that maybe I'll do that. The old Doctor Who's are rough, but there are some nuggets of excellence. Thankfully, winter is almost over here. Stupid 4-month season, but only 3.5 weeks left, give or take. Baldur's Gate is the only one, and I'm a fantasy guy. Uh, yes, you should trust me. Okay, I will, Mistra. Well, if Baldur's Gate's the only one you've played, I'm gonna defer to Mistra because I think Mistra's actually played more um, PC RPG games of the newer ones than I have. Like she's played the Pathfinder, the newer Pathfinder one. She's played uh, what did I play? The Divinity or the other one? I can't think of the other one. Um, but let me see if I can find it on my Steam real quick here. Oh well, my computer restarted, so I got to start Steam up. Let's see here. The Expanse seasons just keep getting better. Reminds me how the old Babylon 5 series just keeps getting better with each new season. That's another one. I've never seen Babylon 5 either. So let's go here to my. Let's go here. Okay, so here is this one. That's Larian. Pillars of Eternity. That's the one I was trying to think of. Okay, so uh, Pillars of Eternity I've played. That's another good one. I could recommend Pillars of Eternity. Um, and then there's also like Pillars of Eternity 2. Um, oh, and then while I was looking at that, Mistress says Pillars of Eternity is basically modern Baldur's Gate, the first game especially. Um, there you go. Independently, even though she's not a big chocolate fan like I am, on games we generally pretty much agree. It seems like. Oh, Dragon Age, Dragon Age. There you go. If you never played Dragon Age, the first one, yeah, um, Dragon Age, Pillars of Eternity, both excellent choices. Yeah. Alejandro. Hey, Alejandro. Sorry to digress, but I bought Star Citizen only to realize it doesn't go on my Mac. Well, that's not the only problem, Alejandro, with getting into Star Citizen. Unfortunately, I'm sorry. Um, Hoping to get Dying Light 2 next paycheck, so that will be fun. Um, so Alejandro, I'm going to point you to I think PC Gamer will have it, Kotaku will have it. There are articles that just came out a couple days ago that basically Star Citizen, the developers for Star Citizen, have decided to change their pattern of talking about like what they're promising and talking about changes and updates to the game and what they're going to deliver on and the time frame in which they're going to deliver on, because they were quote tired of customers being upset, so they decided we're just not going to tell people what the progress is anymore. Now, if that isn't a fucking red flag about the fact that they've gotten $400 million in funding and now they're not even going to tell people what they're promising, holy shit. Red flag, wave them, you know. Um, yeah. So good luck with that, Alejandro. I hope that they do come through with some stuff for you. But that was a little scary. Um, I might even I'll put a link in the chat. Let me find that article and I'll put a link. Let's go here. That's the kind of stuff that really uh, bothers me about the whole industry is that kind of shit. Um, Let me find out where I saw it here. It's they have a search feature on here. Here we go. Okay, here we go. It says Star Citizen is reworking its roadmap to avoid distractions caused by unhappy players. Holy shit. That's a way of saying, hey, we can't really uh, promise anything. So uh, there's the link right there, Alejandro. Let's see here. Mistress says, best or beta test citizen. Yeah. Um, I am made of star citizen. Make me a star citizen. Bastille. Well, yeah. You're about as close as any of us to. I mean, I think there's a playable version of it if you pay them a bunch of money or something like that. But the finished product, you're about as close to playing the finished product as any of us, because I don't know that anybody's ever going to see it. So, um, Mister says sounds like CD Project Red when they stayed quiet about console issues. Yep. I trust very few devs now. Mostly just trust the game if the game is good after it's released by majority of positive reviews. Again, Mister, we're in agreement. I don't pre-order now. I wait until game comes out. I wait to see the reviews, and I wait to make sure that it's not something like somehow any kind of a review bomb situation, where they're ratioing somebody or whatever. And once that all pans out, then and my own eyes. Yep, exactly. So yeah, the pre-order thing is a thing of the past in my book, but I know a lot of people still do it. But Alejandro says there was another game called We Happy Few, and it never left the beta stage, if I remember right. $60 for an unfinished game, which didn't even end up looking good. Um, We Happy Few. I don't remember that. Um, well, they and I need to look into this a little bit more. There was Alejandro. You said that should be illegal. Well, it's called a bait and switch, and bait and switch is uh, well, it's immoral, it's unethical, and all those things. But in certain instances, it is illegal. Um, it's called fraud. So fraud is illegal, but it has to meet certain criteria. There was a push to produce something called the Gamers Bill of Rights, which basically addresses what you're talking about. That for our money that we put out, there should be these expectations that developers have to meet, the bare minimum that they have to meet. I don't know whatever happened with that. Maybe Mistra or one of the other folks in here, one of my other regulars in here, maybe they remember what happened with that. But I may have to look into that a little bit more. But that was a thing called the Gamers Bill of Rights. Does anybody else remember that? Because that was a thing for a while. Um, the trailer looked really cool. Mister says false advertisement is illegal in the West, at least. Colin said I rather liked We Happy Few, but it was janky. Okay. Hell, Linda says, hell, I've seen someone trying to sell the zero edition D&D books for $10,000 on eBay. Holy shit. Or if you're talking about are you talking about the little pamphlets? The ones that are this size right here? You talking about the ones that are this size right here? Because if you're talking about like the wood grain box set, um, of the 3 booklets for the original D&D, if when you say zero edition, if you're talking, well, we call that OD&D, original D&D. If you're talking about those, $10,000 is cheap. If it's an original wood grain, yeah, $10,000 is cheap, dude. Uh, there's been wood grain boxes. Now, remember, there's different editions. The original first print wood grain boxes of the book size that like this of OD&D, I think that the record was $18,000 for one of the wood grain boxes. Now that was for a first print original wood grain box. Then you had the white boxes that came out after that. Those are considerably cheaper. Now, if somebody's asking 10 grand for one of the white box, those are like sixth or seventh print. That's a lot. That's way ridiculous. They're not going to get $10,000. But if it's a wood grain, the reason that the wood grain fetch such a high price is those were all, because there was very few of those. Those were all hand printed and put together in Gary Gygax's basement. The wood grain, the original first print wood grain boxes. They were printed, folded, stapled, the whole bit, put in the boxes, mailing labels put on, whatever, shipping labels, whatever, the whole thing. that was all done in his basement. So there was very few of those first print wood grain boxes. So there's a huge difference. And I do not have any of the I don't have the wood grain box. I don't even have the box for my pamphlets. I have the pamphlets from the white box, um, and I bought those loose without a box. So I don't even have the white box for my pamphlets. Um, but I certainly don't have a wood grain. Now, there's some collectors out there that you can find if you do some searching around for um, out of print role playing game collectors. There's some collections out there that will absolutely blow your mind. Um, there was somebody, and I met him at GaryCon, uh, and his first name is Bill. I won't give out his last name because I he's really secretive about his shit. Um, but this guy Bill, he owns every TSR product, one minimum, one of each of every TSR product produced up until they sold to Wizards of the Coast. He has one of everything at minimum. He has multiples of some things, but he has a minimum of one of everything that TSR ever produced. And he has a binder with his whole inventory of everything that and I've seen pictures of his collections, and it's all temperature controlled and and all that. It's ridiculous. Um, so Mr. says, I'm convinced Elon Musk has got a secret D&D collection. Yeah, and I absolutely agree with you. I think he does. I think a lot of these old rich billionaires have a ton of this stuff stocked away, and they're the reasons that prices have gone crazy. Like when you're saying $10,000 for a box set, 10 years ago, that box set might have gone for $700 or $800. And because these super uber wealthy people started getting into D&D and buying up the collectibles and stuff like that, it made the prices go through the roof. So, um, yeah, I mean, you guys know who Joe Manganiello is, right? The guy from, I think he was on True Blood and Magic Mike and all that. And he, of course, plays D&D 5th edition. And he was part of Vox Machina or whatever. He's the one who it's famous because his character stole the hand of Vecna, uh, and and teleported away or whatever on the YouTube video. If you ever look and see his basement, he's got like one of the full size beholders. He's got like all this crazy shit. Um, Mistress says, of course, 10 grand is like $2 to Elon. Yeah, exactly. It's like couch cushion change, right? So, um, hey, let's move on and let's talk about before I forget here. Let's talk about the Super Bowl. Um, who all is going to be watching the Super Bowl? I I did not watch was it last year or the year before, whichever. If it has Tom Brady and I didn't watch it, I just played video games or whatever. Didn't watch it. I'm watching this year because I'm rooting for my Rams, and I knew Lindis was because he's got the Bengals, and this might just be the first one in a long time that I think this is going to be a damn good game. I think it's going to be a very competitive game. Both teams are what I would say are very very hungry um, for the title. Uh, I don't know. I didn't even see who's doing the halftime show or whatever. So I'm not sure about that, but uh, it looks to be hopefully a good Super Bowl, and I am looking forward to it. So I hope you guys are too. Um, hey, let's talk about the Book of Boba Fett. How about that one? Um, Linda says Rams are looking good. Their defense scares me. Yeah, they're tenacious. They make decisions or make decisions. They make errors on on offense too much though. That's the thing that scares me. Is that uh, they they got lucky that they made it to the Super Bowl with that last game. They got lucky. They made a lot of mistakes they shouldn't have. So Yeah, Mister says, "I guess you'll watch every year now that Tom Brady has retired." Yes, I don't have to worry about seeing him in any more Super Bowls. So, uh, Reach Breach 117 says, "Hey, are you excited for Lost Ark?" Um, I need to look into it a little bit more because I don't know that much about it. And considering I don't pre-order anymore, let's see here. Let me look it up right now. Let's see. Okay, so it's a free-to-play MMO action RPG. Okay. Um, and it looks like let's see here. Release date the 11th, so it's coming up. Lost Ark is a 3D, massively multiplayer online action role-playing game that offers immersive action-centric playing style, adapts a non-targeting combat system, and a dynamic quarter-view angle to maximize the game experience. Huh. Well, it's definitely worth trying out. It's considering it's free to. It says it's free to play. Let's see what the it's a theme park style. There is PvP business model. Free and item mall. So it's gonna have an item shop, which is fine. So it doesn't look like there's even a subscription version available, which I like. The fact that it's means it's just free to play and there's just gonna be um, a loot store. So that sounds pretty good actually. Um, Linda's Jones says, "I'm gonna buy you the DVD set of ESPN Loving on Tom since he is retiring. That is all I've heard in the last week on sports radio. That's why I've been listening to sports radio or watching ESPN because I knew it was just going to be them fawning over him. Now I'm not. I don't want to take anything away from the fact what he's accomplished. I don't want to take anything away from his abilities. Um, but I have other issues with the guy that for me trump all of that. Uh, it just uh, I need to I compartmentalize and say yes, he was probably the greatest quarterback that ever played the game. He accomplished more than most people will, but again, I say some of them he didn't earn, so he should not have earned. So and yes, Lindis, if you did send me the DVD set of that, they would make some mighty fine Mountain Dew coasters and beer coasters right here on the little table I keep here with all my drinks and stuff on. Um, because by the way, little pearl of wisdom for and most people that are gamers know this, but if there's anybody out there that doesn't, um, no drinks or food or anything go anywhere near my PC game rig where anything could be spilled and fall into and destroy the computer or anything like that, or on the keyboard or anything else. Always a separate table away from the computer where all drinks and food go. So that's just an old thing I've been doing for decades. Because I've seen other people with their computers and stuff, and they got their drinks sitting right there. I'm like, dude, if you knock that over, it's gonna go right on your and ruin your keyboard, or it's gonna go right into the fan on your computer and fry your computer, And it's like, um, let's see here. I gotta get caught up here. Mistress says, I'm excited to end Walker Update 6.1. I need to see where the new story arc will go. Well, you consume content so fast, Mister, that it'll be 6.1 and you'll be done with it in like 2 or 3 days, and then you'll be waiting for 6.2. You're one of those power players that just you chew up the content faster than they can make it. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying that yeah, it, luckily for me, when it comes to MMOs, I'm the guy that always wants to go out and like explore like every map fully, and I'm not necessarily worried about the main storyline. I want to go explore and try crafting and all that other stuff. So for me, I feel like I get more bang for my buck because I'm not just concentrating on that. Just a different play style. That's all. Um, Bastille says, I'll probably have Super Bowl on. Not much of a football fan. I'll cheer for the guys with the best uniforms and helmet. Well, that's a toss up there. That might go to the Bengals. Linda Jones, they both have great uniforms. Bastille. Proudfoot Underhill. Well, heart back. Um, Linda's Jones fawning is an understatement. Uh, what do you think about Aaron Rodgers? Um, Aaron Rodgers is he's up there with the the pantheon of great quarterbacks of all time. Um, I can compartmentalize his political views and his now the fact that he could have passed on the whole thing about him having COVID and going and playing and stuff like that. The fact that he could have made his teammates all sick and then they would have had to forfeit games. Let's say if the whole team got it and they didn't have enough players to take the field and they would have had to forfeit games and stuff like that. That's a dick move, right there. I mean, doesn't matter your politics or that from a business standpoint, because don't take anything out of it other than the NFL is a business, and they need to be able to put players on the field to play games to get that money from the TV money and all that stuff. Um, that was a dick move. So yeah. Let's see here. Linda says he played for Michigan. Screw him. You're not a Wolverines fan, I take it, Linda, huh? Bastille says, Linda's, I'll cheer for each touchdown then. Okay. For both sides, right, Bastille? Mr. You and you won't be careful not to spill on those coaches. Oh no, they'll if they'll probably need to be cleaned once in a while. So the spillage, I can just take a towel. I usually keep a towel here. Yeah. I can just take a towel then, and I can just take those coasters, those DVDs, and just wipe them off. Um, yeah, that's what'll happen with those DVDs. Um, let's see here. Trying to get caught up here. Endwalker is amazing. Reach Breach said Endwalker was amazing. Definitely loved Endwalker. Aaron Rodgers told Bears fans that he still owns them, so I think he may be hated in Illinois. Oh, I'm sure he is hated in Illinois. Bears fans hate Packers and Packer fans. So, Bastille says I keep my computer on a shelf above my desk, but have spilled coffee at work and it flows down cue ball into the power strip and blew a circuit. My point exactly, right there. Now again, that's at work, so that that's they got to pay for that shit, not. But your own rig and stuff, you got to keep food and drink away from the computers. Same thing goes with like my D&D stuff at the table. Like I have little tables set up for people to put their drinks on and stuff, and some of them still have their drinks there, but I have towels and stuff like strategically placed, and we have had spills on the table because we're talking about a lot of us are using the older editions that are collectibles now for rule books and stuff like that, and we have everything set up, and everybody kind of knows if something is spilled, everybody goes into action immediately, grabs a towel, and just starts so it doesn't get any of the books, the collectible books or any of that stuff wet. Yeah, oh yeah, we have a full system set up for to try and keep that from happening. Where am I at here? 8-Bit Bill says I get an NFL. I'll get an NFL football fake Tom signage on it, deflate it, and put it in a glass case and send it to you. And I would display that. Yeah. With the deflated Tom Brady football, I would absolutely proudly I would display that where it would be seen on every live. Proudfoot Underhill says greetings from Bulgaria and cheers. I've had 3 to 5 beers. Let me look and see here. Bulgaria. Oh, by the way, if there's anybody in here that didn't see this last time, this was the passport I was talking about from that brewery, the Crown City Brewery, where they have a passport for all the different beers from around the world. And sadly, they're gone now. But I was talking about this. I'm going to look and see if there's anything from Bulgaria on here. See if there's a Bulgaria on here. Nope, it goes Belgium, Brazil, no Bulgaria. But you can see that was of all the different countries and everything. So if anybody else wants me to look up and see if any of their beers are on here, I can do that for you. Nathan Napalm is here. Hey, how you doing, Nathan? Nathan Napalm says, "Yeah, keep the children away from the D&D and the PCs." That's another good thing. My cat is not allowed down here because she likes to chew on wires. I don't know if anybody else has a psycho cat that, for whatever reason, they like to chew on electrical wires, but she would love to start chewing on all the wires to my PC and stuff like that. So she is not allowed down here because of that reason. Um, yeah, Nathan Napalm, who checked in. If you guys haven't checked out his channel, he does a lot of old EverQuest 2 stuff, and he's also uh, does some stuff about the upcoming. Why can't I think of the name? If he's still here, hopefully he'll jump in. What's the game that's coming up, Nathan? That the old school RPG PC game, MMO that you're talking about on your channel all the time. I can't think of the name of it right now. Pantheon, Rise of the Fallen. There it is. He also does videos on that. So I have not. I think I have an account on the forums or whatever set up for it, but I'll wait till it releases. But I definitely will be getting that for sure. Let me get caught up here. Oh, here we go. I like Aaron Rodgers because he hated season 8 of Game of Thrones. And I'm not kidding. It's the worst television history. Not that was the only season though. Yeah. I don't know what happened with season 8. I don't. I don't know, Mister. I can't understand it. But yeah. Uh, again, I can compartmentalize. So yeah. He's right about that. Mister says 1 to 6 was a masterpiece that made it so much worse. Yeah, and that's why when I talk about Game of Thrones, I try to look at it as a collectively the whole thing. And yes, the bad I don't think balances out the good. I think the good outweighs the bad if you take those 6 seasons. Yes, the ending wasn't what everybody wanted and everything, but as a whole, I'll take the whole damn series as a whole. Yes. Um, let's see here. Bastille says lots of 1980s Cheeto stains in some of my old D&D books. Yeah, and some of my old stuff has, from those days when we weren't careful, because at that point they weren't out of print. And if you spilled a Pepsi or a beer or something on your player's handbook, you could just go down to Walden Books and get another player's handbook if you ruined it. Well, now everything's out of print. So now you're looking at, we talked about the collector prices now to replace some of those out of print books and stuff like that. So now you got to be a lot more careful. Proudfoot Underhill. I know Bulgaria is not famous for its beers. Yeah, I don't know if I have tried a Bulgarian beer. I don't remember it. Colin says I had a hamster chew through a mouse cable. Well, mouse is that's better than well, I don't know. Some mice now are what, $100 now for the fancy ones, 70, 80, 90, $100. FF says, love your basement, Greyhawk. Would love a new tour video. It's an amazing nerd cave. Yeah, I do one about every, 6 months or so. I do another one. So I'll do another one here at some point. Once I get done with this project of putting all my collection, bagging and boarding and sorting my collection and cataloging it and get all that put away, then I'll do another tour one. 8-Bit Bill, Mr. Didn't Aaron Rodgers have a role as an extra in one episode of Game of Thrones? Maybe it was season 8. That I don't know. I still watch season 1 through 6 though sometimes. True, I agree with that. Edward Green, howdy folks. Hey, there's Edward Green, author of right there, Nerovia. Mr. I think he did have a role as an extra, but I don't remember which season. Do a spring summer update. Yeah. So the beard is going to go away in the spring. This is for the winter. This is the longest I've ever had it. And it keeps my neck warm. It's a built-in scarf. So when I'm out shoveling snow and stuff like that, it's very handy. But spring, this is going back down to the goatee, shaving the head the whole bit, and then I'll do an update here of the tour. Edward Green. That's why I'm such a fan of old school essentials. Nicest layout of old school rules, in my opinion. This way I can have my collectibles on the shelf primarily during play. You make a very good point there, Edward. I hadn't really thought of it that way, but if we were to switch, like when we come back to the table, when COVID calms down, if we were to switch strictly to old school essentials and I could put all my first edition stuff away, my collectibles away, you make a very good point because if something happened to an old school essentials book, even though it would be sad that I've got something spilled on a book, I could just order another one because they're still in print. Um, you make a good point. I hadn't thought of it that way. Um, let's see here. Um, Walden Books. I remember those guys. The only bookstores we have around nowadays are Barnes and Noble and Half Price Books. I wish I had a Half Price Books in my area, but we don't have any here. You can sometimes find pretty good deals there. Um, Edward says, I do love, however, using old out of print books while researching and writing adventures. And another good point, Edward. I've said before that I have stuff from all these different games and all these different editions and third party stuff, everything, and I use it all as source material. People will say, "Oh, well, that's not third edition or that's not second edition or what." I don't care what edition it is, and I don't care what game it is or who produced it, or it doesn't matter to me if I can take what's in there and then I can adjust it, whether it's the stats or the mechanics. Even I can adjust the mechanics to make it work with my campaign, and I just use it as source material. Like let's take for example, if there was a spell from a game like Tunnels and Trolls or something like or Nerovia, or something like that, and I'm running my first edition, second edition game, D&D, AD&D, and that spell was not. It had nothing to do with. It wasn't in first edition, second edition. It wasn't a D&D thing. But I like the spell. I'm just gonna adjust it to work with my campaign, and if I have to adjust like even some of the effects or the way it works or what to make to work with the mechanics of my rule set, I'll do that, and that becomes source material then. So, and I even like yeah, even novels. I've even gotten ideas for stuff from novels for my game, and then I've had to figure out, well, how would that work in Greyhawk? How would it work in first edition, second edition Greyhawk? You know, so yeah, everything is to me everything is source material. So this room here is one big library of gaming knowledge and science fiction knowledge. Mistress says the magic of homebrew campaigns. Exactly. Yep. Um, Mistress says I am confused, tired and confused it with Ed Greenwood. Ah, okay. So I was wondering when you said hi, Daddy, you've forgotten realms. I was like, um, is she thinking that Edward Green is like Ed Greenwood? Um, so yeah, you caught your own your own mistake there, Mister. Um, yeah, if Ed Greenwood checked in, first of all, you'd have to wait for me to get up from passing out on the ground, get up off the floor. You'd know if someone like Ed Greenwood checked in. Yeah. So uh, now I do personally, I know Luke Gygax and Ernie Guy. I met both of them guys, and I know Luke very well. I don't know if I've mentioned this before. Luke Gygax and I served in the exact same city in Germany in the army. He's still in the reserves. He's a lieutenant colonel now in the reserves. And I was just leaving Germany when Luke got there as a brand new. He was a second lieutenant right out of officer candidate school or whatever. And so he and I literally we didn't know each other. We could have literally played D&D in Aschaffenburg, Germany, but we weren't in the same unit, so we didn't know each other. So because when I was at Gary Con, he said something about Aschaffenburg, and I said, "How do you know Aschaffenburg, Luke?" And he goes, "Well, I was stationed there." And I was like, "Well, I was stationed there." And I was like, "When were you there?" And he was like, "Well, I got there in early 1990." And I was like, "Well, I left in May of 1990." And he's like, "So you and I were there at the same time?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Well, I was with this unit." And I was like, "Well, I was at this unit." But if we had bumped into, if I had seen his name tag, because everybody wears their name, if I had seen someone walk around and it said Gygax, you can bet I would have said, "Excuse me, sir," because he was an officer and I was not an officer. I would have had to say, "Excuse me, sir. Uh, pardon my interruption, but are you related to Gary Gygax? Because that's a pretty, that's not a common name." And then he would have, well, yeah, I'm his son or whatever, and I would have been like, "Holy shit, dude, we gotta play D&D, sir." So, but that didn't happen. So, Bastille says 8-bit at 8-bit Bill. I'm in Minnesota, north of St. Paul, cabin up Three Lakes, friends in Madison, sister in Maiden Rock. So you guys must be neighbors, or in the same area at least. So, what else did I want to talk about here? Oh, real quick before I forget, um, getting older. So for all of you youngins out there, now I know a lot of my regulars in here. A lot of us are in our 50s, so everybody, they'll all relate. But like Mister, I know is one of the younger ones, and then I don't know if some of the other folks are youngins. But just keep in mind that once you get like above 40, 45 years old, once you start getting above that area there, um, you're gonna wake up in the mornings and uh, when you get out of bed, it's gonna be a game every morning of what hurts today. Is today my back? Is today my knee? Is today my, yeah? Um, Um, you old farts, yeah, call creak, cough, exactly. So the only reason I'm bringing this up is if there's anything that you can do while you're still young to try and help with that, I don't know what it would be. I don't know what products there are out there, like supplements and vitamins and shit like that that you can do, or just um, making sure to lift with your legs and not your back and stuff like that. Try and do that because literally every morning I wake up and I'm like, okay, what hurts today? And like one day it'll be like, why is my foot hurting? Why is my ankle hurting? Why is my wrist hurting? Or something like, and it's like every day, So just anyway, that was just one of those little things trying to throw out there for nugget of wisdom. And the other old farts in here can tell you the same thing, that unless any of them were smart enough to try and do something to keep that from happening. I don't know what it would have been, but um, I know that being smart about exercise, and when I say smart, I don't just mean doing it, exercising. I mean not running on pavement where you're wrecking your knees and your back, and like they make you do in the army, and stuff. Even though when you're young, you can kind of you can absorb it all. It's no problem, but it does come back to bite you. Um, um, but 8-bit Bill, if you're lucky, you sleep through the whole night at our age. Cough, hack, groan. Yeah. Memory is a problem. So I have found that being a gamer actually helps, and I've seen that there are studies that support my hypothesis that gaming helps keep your memory lively, because you're constantly concentrating on different things, hand-eye coordination, and critical thinking, and problem solving, and all these things. And I'm talking about tabletop and like video games. Video games, your hand and eye coordination keeps you sharp in there and everything. Especially if you do like first person shooters like Counter Strike, Call of Duty, stuff like that, where you gotta, you're going against these, 17, 18-year olds that are able to, one shot you before you even poke your head around the corner. You're trying to keep up with them, keeps your reflexes sharp and all that. But like even tabletop stuff where you're having to consult the rules and do the math on certain percentages and things like that, and remembering um, uh, events from like previous sessions of the gaming of the game world and so forth. Um, all that all that activity helps. So I think being a gamer is a bonus for us. Now, being a gamer is detrimental because we sit down a lot. So we need to get out and exercise more, even if it's just walking, going out and taking walks and stuff like that. But it does keep the mind sharp, I think, and reflexes. So there's a kind of a trade off there. So it's all about balance, you know. Um, let's see. Anything else? Oh, we didn't talk too much about the Book of Boba Fett. I glazed over that. If you haven't seen the episode 6 of the Book of Boba Fett, I'm not going to talk. There's a lot of spoilers in there, so I can't even try to talk about it without there being a bunch of spoilers. Episode 6 is a masterpiece. Dave Filoni directed it, and I'm just going to say it is fantastic. Um, it's it's what makes all of us love Star Wars. Um, so the whole series, I'll say this: the last 2 episodes, 5 and 6, 5 didn't have Boba Fett in it at all. 6, he was only in it for a very short period of time, and they were the 2 best episodes of the series. Now the 7th is the finale. That's the finale of the season. So of course everything's gonna go ape shit in the end one, but it was this last one was fantastic. So um, let me get caught up here. Agree. Mr. says, I agree. Gaming is good for mental health. Bastille says, after a long day at work on a computer, it's hard to get back on the computer to play games. I get that. That makes a lot of sense. Edward says, I enjoyed this week's episode. 8-Bit says, top notch episode. Mr. says, I haven't watched the show yet, but I did sub recently to watch Hawkeye, which was good. I enjoyed Hawkeye. I've liked all the, what was it? What was the other one that they had? Well, they had the Winter Soldier, Captain America, the Winter Soldier, that one. And then they had WandaVision. So WandaVision, Winter Soldier, and Hawkeye. I liked all 3 of them. So again, it doesn't take much for me to enjoy stuff like that. What throws me off is when they do stuff that is completely illogical or doesn't fit, like with the Book of Boba Fett with the space Vespas. That really took me out of the that completely took me out of the element of what I was watching because it didn't fit at all. Didn't make any sense. I don't know. Anyway, Colin says I liked WandaVision. Loki, that was the other one too. Yeah, Loki was good. So yeah, Loki and Winter Soldier and WandaVision and Hawkeye, I liked all of those. So I liked one probably out of all those, WandaVision was my favorite. I thought WandaVision was fantastic. Loki was good too, but by far WandaVision, I think, out of all those was my favorite. So as far as getting my money's worth on Disney Plus, I think my wife and I have both because my wife watches all this stuff with me. She loves it. So we've been definitely getting, and then she loves all the old Disney movies, the musicals and stuff like that. She loves all that stuff. So yeah, we definitely get our money's worth on that. I think Kenobi is next. And then I know that there's Mandalorian season 3 coming, and then Loki is getting season 2. By the way, good, awesome. And then is it Akaska? I think she's getting her own show too. Did you watch Doom Patrol or Umbrella Academy? I watched the first season of Umbrella Academy, I think. And I enjoyed that. I did not watch Doom Patrol. But I did watch the first season of Umbrella Academy. I haven't seen anything announced as to when Kenobi is coming out. I don't know what the roadmap is. Let's see here. It's okay. So here's something that says it may have been the release date may have accidentally been leaked. They're saying that somebody accidentally said May. So it sounds like maybe it's coming out May. So that's not official. That's just a leaked rumor right now. So And it's cheaper than Netflix. I've mostly dropped it for Disney and HBO Max. Um, yeah, my wife and I are junkies, so we have Amazon Prime, Netflix, HBO Max, Disney Plus, Hulu. We do not have Paramount Plus. I think we drew the line there. We've got all those other ones, and then I think that's it. Yeah, but yeah, we're when it comes to TV, we're kind of we don't like being told no that there's something we can't see. So, um, and then on Prime, we even have the add-ons for PBS and Masterpiece Theater, and BritBox. Yeah, those are yeah, we have BritBox, Acorn, um, PBS Masterpiece. Yeah, we have those. So, yeah, we spend too much on entertainment, but we also don't go to the movies. So movies would cost, you just go to one movie would cost you probably 40, $50 to go to a movie. So Mister says don't need Paramount to be honest. Yeah, there's not anything really. Now, I've heard that they're going to take the Star Wars shows off of Netflix. They're going to pull them off Netflix. Um, and put them straight. They'll be exclusive to Paramount, and that's why I'm burning through right now. I'm trying to. I finished all the Next Gen. I watched all 7 seasons of Next Generation. I'm on Deep Space Nine. I want to watch because if they do that, they're either going to force me to get Paramount Plus or I'm going to have to buy them on Blu-ray. Um, so that's the only thing that's going to suck about that, Mister, is it could all become exclusives to Paramount Plus. So. Well, anyway, guys, this was fun. We're over an hour now. That's about what the voice can take. So, um, wouldn't they be on Disney Plus? Disney doesn't have Star Trek. Nope, that'd be on Paramount. Yeah. Disney does not own Star Trek. So, um, yeah, they've already announced it. Matter of fact, I can look it up for you real quick here. Um, before we'll stay on for a little bit extra here. I wanted to mention one person, Hazard 0643 on Twitch. He's been doing a really good job of streaming Star Wars Galaxies on the Finalizer server, the emulator. His stuff's real entertaining. So he's been doing it 2 or 3 times a week. So if you're interested in seeing what Star Wars Galaxies emulator looks like, he's been doing a lot of good streaming on Twitch. So again, that's Hazard, HAZARD 0643. Here, I'll type it in here. Uh, 0643. Yep, that's correct. So yeah, if you guys are interested in seeing any of that stuff, so now I want to look up now. Star Trek Paramount Plus. Let's see here. News here. I'm trying to see here where there was something about them pulling them. They said they were thinking about it. I'm not finding it right now. It was about 2-3 weeks ago that I read that. So because their idea would be that they would then have all the Star Trek stuff just on their platform, which would make people want to have to subscribe. Yeah, I'm not finding it now. So hopefully that was just an unfounded rumor. I hope. So but that's bad news. I don't want to sub to Paramount. I don't either. So hopefully that was just if I did say Star Wars, I apologize if I misspoke. Yeah, I was talking about like Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, all that stuff. So yeah, they were talking Paramount was they're talking about pulling them off of Netflix, and then they would only be available through Paramount. So um, hopefully that was just a rumor. So anyway, guys, let's see. I think that's everything I wanted to talk about. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. A lot of good comments here. If I missed any comments, I apologize. I try to make sure and stay caught up here. See, I missed one right here. Mister said I subbed to Netflix for Cobra Kai and sometimes anime, and that's about it. So like every 3 months, I sub. I haven't watched Cobra Kai. I heard it's very good though. Proudfoot Underhill says message retracted, so I missed that. Whatever it was you hit, I missed it. So sorry about that. All right, guys. Everybody have a good rest of your Sunday. And I know the folks over there in Europe, it's already Sunday night. So have a good one, guys. And we will catch you on the flip side.